What's up, everybody? A couple nights ago, I watched The Dark Knight. Sorry that I don't have the case. I always like to hold up the disc case for visual reference, but it's kind of a collector's item anyway. I got it for Christmas a number of years ago, and I've already filed it away. I forgot that I use it for visual aid, but needless to say, I watched my copy of The Dark Knight on Blu-ray because I'm kind of wanting to see Dark Knight Rises again in the theater before it goes, and I wanted to see it at the end of the trilogy. Though I pretty much watched it as the beginning because I watched Dark Knight Rises, and then a couple days later I watched Batman Begins, and now I've watched The Dark Knight. The Dark Knight is awesome. It's great. I'm going to give it a 9. I feel I should give it somewhat of a 10, but I don't know. This viewing, for me particularly, was a 9. Perhaps it was too late or I was a bit groggy, but you know, it was a solid 9. There's only just a few things that bug me about the film, and really, it's just a couple things, and they're all centered around the massive computer cell phone sonar project that Batman has going on in secret, and it just, I mean, really, that's my only beef with the film, is that, you know, it's going right along like this well-oiled machine, and then at the very end, which they do introduce it, you know, earlier, but at the very end they introduce this, like, sonar mapping of the city. It's very technical, and it just, like, it slams on the brakes for me. Like I'm having to, I remember the first time I saw the film, I was just like, what? You know, I was, like, confused. I didn't know what was going on. I didn't understand what the phones were doing. But anyway, after I've watched the film several times, I get, you know, the technology, but it still is just like, everything's so simple, and then that is thrown in there. So it's like, for me, it grinds to a halt, like, as I absorb this new information and plot device. And also, you know, connection to that, in the final showdown, Batman has, like, a readout of the computer map, whatever, I don't know, and he has these flip-down lenses, and it allows him to see what the computer is seeing, this sonar readout from everyone's cell phone. So he flips these down to, like, gain a little you know, foreknowledge of what's around the next corner. But then he starts, like, relying on that in the moment, and I'm like, why does he need this sonar deal when he's, like, there fighting people? I would think that he would want his, you know, regular Batman vision, you know, to kick some ass, but instead he's, I don't know, got this blue flashy thing going on in his face, and I'm like, I don't know, I don't understand why he does that. So I keep on telling myself that, well, maybe he gets hit in the head or something and he can't shut it off, because I really see no need for, you know, Super Ninja Bruce Wayne to be relying on this technology in the heat of the moment. So that's, like, really my only beef with the film. I love everything else about it, so that's it. That's the only thing that sticks out in my mind about, you know, irritating me, and I get over it, but, you know, I still find it irritating. But I absolutely love the film otherwise. The Dark Knight is about Batman in his heyday. He's got the streets pretty much cleaned up. He's got the mob pretty much on the run or hiding. basically limited, very limited in their dealings. And the mob isn't free to operate as they would like. So they've pooled all their money unknowingly. Batman has traced their money, is getting ready to hit them where it hurts and steal all of their money from them, get all of their life savings. In steps the Joker, pretty much hired to take care of Batman, as well as secure the mob's money. And so the Joker steps in, wants to off Batman. All the meanwhile, we've got Harvey Dent, Gotham's district attorney, cleaning the streets up. He is in love with Batman's true love from the first film, Rachel, and that creates some interesting problems. Harvey Dent, then through circumstances and through the actions of the Joker, becomes Two-Face. So there's pretty much two villains in this film. They're on separate courses. They have separate missions, but there are, two villains. If any fanboys have a problem with the character interpretations of The Dark Knight Rises with Bane and Natalia al Ghul, all you have to do is look back at The Dark Knight, and in no other medium or story has Two-Face been created by the Joker. So it if you can accept that, then I think you can accept any other thing that this trilogy offers. The film stars Christian Bale, Heath Ledger, Michael Caine, Morgan Freeman, Aaron Eckhart, Maggie Gyllenhaal. Who else is in there? Am I leaving any big names out? Perhaps. Several other faces from the other films. Oh, Gary Oldman, of course. This is one of Gary Oldman's best performances. A top three. Only two other ones pop into my mind for Gary Oldman, and that's The Professional, obviously, and Bram Stoker's Dracula. I think he's mesmerizing in those films, and I think he's mesmerizing here. In fact, since he's not totally insane or a legendary monster, this is his most real performance, his most subtle, and I think it's awesome. I think in terms of acting, I think he kind of steals the show for playing, a real guy. Obviously, we've got Aaron Eckhart and Heath Ledger, who are playing these iconic characters, in particular Heath Ledger. Heath Ledger's Joker is, insane, is electric, is just fascinating to watch. This is the performance that killed him, Heath Ledger, that is. And, you can see him giving it his all. He puts 100% into the performance, leaves nothing behind, and I do feel that he gave his life for this performance. That in a way, the character got the better of him, and but I think it's almost deserved. He lived that role. For better or worse. It's, truly sad that he couldn't maintain control, but an artist, shouldn't have much use for control. So, obviously, I miss Heath Ledger. He was an amazing talent, but if you want to talk about going out on top, he did. I think he's easily my generation's James Dean. I really don't think there's been another like true James Dean figure since. I think it's like James Dean and Heath Ledger. I think that they can now be immortalized together in those terrible paintings you see in, I don't know, coffee shops and hotels. Really, I think Heath Ledger was a force of nature, and it's a shame that he went, but I don't think he could be more proud of the work that he left behind. I think he won the Oscar mainly because Dark Knight didn't get a Best Picture recognition, and, he gave his life to the art. So it would pretty much guaranteed him a win for that. But the performance is, again, captivating. But all the acting is really good. Michael Caine is awesome here. He's always awesome, though. Morgan Freeman, funny-wise, does exactly what Morgan Freeman should do. He's very good here. All the acting is very good. Christian Bale, always outstanding. Again, the acting is all fantastic. The story, I noticed this time that this is much like The Dark Knight Rises in the fact that it was written by Christopher and Jonathan Nolan from a story by David S. Goyer. And I can't remember if it was also Christopher Nolan, but story by David S. Goyer. David S. Goyer co-wrote, actually is credited with co-writing Batman Begins, and here and with Rises he's just credited with the story. And I do notice that the screenplay is like a perfect mix of Batman Begins and Dark Knight Rises, where with Batman Begins you have this rapid fire dialogue, you've got excellent character establishment, and this great interplay, where with Dark Knight Rises you have these huge monologues that are definitely character revealing, but again, we're left with all of these characters speaking in long monologues. And here with Dark Knight, we have, again, like a synthesis of the two. And it works perfectly. I think that's probably why it's the best of the trilogy. So, very well written. It's 2.5 hours long, and zips right along for me. Maybe feels like an hour and a half, or 2 hours at best. It really zoomed on by. Very well directed, Christopher Nolan. This is one of his, better films. Again, I say he doesn't make bad films, but it's definitely one of his better. I thought this is also the score from Hans Zimmer. I thought was really highlighted here, that music is pretty much constant. Is definitely different from Rises and Begins. I think that's with the theme of the Joker running throughout. I think that's why it's different. Pretty much non-stop. All the costumes are great. Everything technical, as you would expect from a Hollywood blockbuster, is pretty much par excellence. The costume design, the set design, the special effects, just everything practical is damn near perfect. Practically perfect. I don't know what else to say. This is a huge film. You've probably seen it, and if you're watching me talk about it, you've probably seen it a few times. I saw it twice in the theater, once in IMAX. I bought it like the day it came out. No, I didn't buy it the day it came out. I rented it the day it came out. I think I watched it twice while I had it rented. And then I got this like special edition, for Christmas a couple years ago, I guess. And so I don't know. I'd say that the other night was probably maybe the 6th time I've watched it. perhaps 7th, but around in there. And, you know, I absolutely love it. I think this is probably the best expression of a Batman property without, you know, being in a comic book. Definitely the best Batman film, you know, again, outside of the actual comic book universe. I think this is the best example of Batman. Well, boy, I tell you, some of those episodes of Batman, the animated series, you know, from the WB in the 90s, that stuff's amazing to me. I still love catching those in reruns. That's a fantastic show, so I really can't deride that. But I really, in a way, can't compare the two either. But I think they're both fascinating. Both incredible examples of Batman. So I think there you go. I've pretty much said all I need to. You know, it's a great film. It's fantastic and fun to watch. So that's The Dark Knight, and I give it a solid 9. Thank you very much.